This video is for the gym goers that celebrate Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and I want to show that you can be on a calorie deficit while you're having fun with your friends and family, because there's always going to be a huge feast. Day 1 began on Tuesday, and my starting weight was at 199 pounds. Meal 1 was a nice 8 ounces of chicken breast and 2 hard-boiled eggs, and soup on the side with carrots, cabbage, and daikon in it. Afterwards, I had my supplements of multivitamins, fish oil, and zinc. Later in the afternoon, I ate one Fuji apple for my pre-workout meal because of the nutrients, and they say it keeps the doctor away. For my post-workout meal, part 1 was a simple 2-scoop protein shake mixed in with almond milk, and part 2 was 1 can of tuna, 150 grams of cooked rice, 5 slices of turkey, and smoked Tabasco sauce on the top. This concludes day 1, and the macros will be on the screen. I also have a daily step goal of at least 10,000 steps, and I achieved almost 10,500 steps. One of my biggest mistakes in dieting is I do not know what my maintenance calories is exactly. Years back, I found it at 2,300 and it remained ever since, which leads day 1 to a roughly 800 calorie deficit. For day 2, I weighed in at 197.2 pounds, and my first meal of the day was 16.75 ounces of chicken breast, cooked with roughly 2 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce and steamed vegetables on the side. It looks and sounds like a lot, but I ate some of it in the morning and the rest carried over to dinner. Afterwards, I had my multivitamins and fish oil and made myself some green tea in the morning, and I believe day 2 was also rest day, so I didn't eat anything until later in the afternoon, which was just 1 protein bar. Just kidding, of course I'm not going to have 1 protein bar for lunch, that would be absolutely insane. Add more of the chicken and vegetables from the morning, and for dinner, I had 150 grams of cooked rice, 9.95 ounces of tilapia, and whatever was left from the chicken and vegetables from the morning. The macros for day 2 will be on the screen, and for day 2, I almost reached 10,500 steps. Lastly, my estimated deficit was around 900 calories, and for day 3, I weighed in at 196.8 pounds. Day 3 was when my family celebrated Thanksgiving, so that meant it was going to be a cheat day. But that didn't mean I was going to skip a workout, so I decided to do leg day. My pre-workout meal was a Rice Krispie treat, a ham and cheese sandwich, and 3 egg rolls. For my supplements, I also decided to do 2 multivitamins and fish oil, and my post-workout meal was a protein bar. Afterwards was Thanksgiving dinner with the family, and my first plate was 2 egg rolls, mashed potatoes, a slice of ribeye, top sirloin, and turkey, and a little bit of the fat poured on top of it. My second plate after was multiple slices of ham, more turkey, mashed potatoes, and 3 more egg rolls, and after that I took a little break. After 15 or 20 minutes passed by, I moved on to dessert, starting with a cream puff and then a plate of 2 different types of cheesecake, apple or peach pie, and banana pudding, and 1 sesame ball. I took another break because I was really full, and the last thing I ate was some type of coffee cronut pastry. I didn't track any calories at all, but I can safely estimate that I ate in between 3,000 to 3,500 calories, and as a result, I gained 4.3 pounds. For day 3 step goal, I reached around 10,600 steps, but I honestly could have done more to mitigate the amount of calories that I ate. Day 4, I had leftover turkey, which was a total of 11.85 ounces that was spread throughout the day, and in the afternoon, I had a protein shake and a protein bar. And the last meal on day 4 was 6 slices of turkey, the rest of the turkey from meal 1, 4 egg rolls, and sweet and sour sauce on the side. On day 5, I weighed in at 200 pounds even and lost 1.1 pounds of water weight. The calories and macros for day 4 will be on the screen at a total of 1,200 calories, but I did not track everything because on day 4, I also had a little bit of crispy pork that came separate from the sweet and sour sauce and pad see ew, or Thai stir-fried noodles. This brings me to a trick I use to manage calories on deficit, eyeballing portions of untrackable foods when I eat out. While I try to eat clean, there are times I eat out and can't accurately track calories. For example, on day 4, I had about 1,000 calories left for crispy pork, Thai noodles, and 4 egg rolls. This method works best if you face something similar, and preferably if you know your maintenance calories. Again, I'm estimating mine at around 2,300, and I recommend lowballing the portions for the sake of damage control. Just eat until you are satisfied. But if you're disciplined enough to eat clean daily, more power to you. With that being said, I use the eyeballing method on days 5 to 7. So meal 1 for day 5 was the remaining pork and pad see ew, and 8.35 ounces of the chicken breast and steamed veggies on the side. For my supplements, it was multivitamins and fish oil, and for lunch I had a protein shake and a protein bar. And my last meal for day 5 was 6 slices of turkey, 2 eggs, 4.25 ounces of teriyaki chicken, and vegetable soup with pineapple, cabbage, and beet sprouts in it. The macros for day 5 will be on the screen, and my step goal was at almost 17,400 steps, and my calorie deficit was at around 1,000 calories using the eyeballing method for the noodles and pork. For day 6, I weighed in at 199.1 pounds, and for breakfast, I had 5.7 ounces of teriyaki chicken, 2 slices of turkey, steamed vegetables consisting of cabbage, broccoli, and carrots. For lunch, I had a protein bar and a protein shake, and dinner, I had Panda Express, the rest of the steamed vegetables, but I was still hungry, so I had the rest of the Panda Express and a protein bar and half a serving of chow mein on the side as well. This sums up what I ate for day 6. My total calories was around 1900 and my step goal was around 15,500 steps. For my calorie deficit, it was give or take 400 calories. And as for day 7, I weighed in at 197.8 pounds, so it's safe to assume that I lost the water weight from Thanksgiving. Moving on, my first meal of the day was 11.6 ounces of teriyaki chicken and steamed vegetables consisting of cabbage, carrots, and broccoli, but this would also carry over to lunch as well. After that, I had one protein bar, and in the evening, it was teriyaki chicken again, rotisserie chicken, and Trader Joe's mac and cheese, which is pretty macro friendly on the protein side as well. And I finished off the day with a branch of grapes. And that wraps the end of my calorie deficit on Thanksgiving week. The result is that I lost 1.6 pounds total within a week, which I say is not bad. My diet is nothing special. Some advice I give is that sauces are pretty clutch. For me, teriyaki and hot sauces add flavor to my food, and I'm able to stay sane because of it. But even though the teriyaki sauce is not 0 calories, just make sure you don't overdo it. And lastly, it shows that you can't eat bad for one day as long as you are disciplined enough in your mind. Fast forward to December 23, my weight fluctuated in between 197 and 194 pounds. My dieting, I also organized it as well. I added low carb tortillas, cottage cheese, and salsa to it. And instead of teriyaki chicken and vegetables on the side, I switched it so that it's now teriyaki sauce with vegetables and plain chicken as well. So with that being said, day 1 I weighed in at 193.3 pounds. For meal 1, it was chicken thighs, 8.3 ounces of that with teriyaki vegetables, I guess you can say. Afterwards, I had one sesame ball and about 80% of a Vietnamese donut. The other 20% was from the day before. Next was my supplements, which was 2 multivitamins and 1 fish oil. And for lunch, for my post-workout meal, I had 3 slices of turkey, a protein bar, and a protein shake as well. For dinner, I was pretty hungry, so I added more calories than usual. I had 4 ounces of chicken breast and 3 scrambled eggs. Halfway through it was pretty dry, so I added some barbecue sauce instead of teriyaki sauce and hot sauce because I ran out of both of them. And I also had a dessert as well, which was 1 blueberry and cream muffin from Costco. For day 1, I used my eyeballing method, so I tracked my calorie deficit at around 1,000 calories. This was excluding the muffin, sesame ball, and donut. I just figured there's no way it added up to 1,000, so that means my total calories, excluding those 3 carb sources, was at around 1,252, and my step goal was almost 19,000. As you can see, day 2, I weighed in at 192.7 pounds. On day 2 was when my family celebrated Christmas. In total, there's about 18.4 ounces of cooked chicken by 13 or 14 ounces of it total throughout the day. There's a side of teriyaki vegetables, and after the chicken I ate, this was what was remaining left over. I also had a side of maxed out as well. On this day, I didn't really care about tracking my calories, so it was a cheat day. For lunch, it was the usual protein bar, protein shake. And for Christmas with my family for dinner, there was some fried rice, egg rolls, and gyoza. I was pretty full, so I had a little break. Then I had my plate 2, which was some chicken wings, gyoza, and egg rolls. For dessert, it was a slice of durian cake. I was pretty full after this, but I still wanted to eat some more after my break, which was some fried rice and some egg rolls and gyoza. And when I got home, I had a giant Rice Krispie treat with some almond milk on the side as well. While I did desire more room for dessert, it was enough to satisfy my cravings. So on day 3, I weighed in at 196.2 pounds, and I gained about 3.5 pounds of water weight. Day 2, my step goal was almost 10,500 steps. All I did for my feast afterwards was walk my dog, but I do wish I walked an extra 10 or 15 minutes just to digest my food a little bit more. For day 3, I decided to try out my low-carb tortillas and cottage cheese. I always wanted to try cottage cheese because it was high in protein, and I figured that the tortillas would make a good pairing with it, which it does. And every time I eat these two, I'll add 3 eggs and plain chicken breast. And these four work really well in my opinion. And just to change up the flavor a little bit more, I'll add some hot sauce or salsa on the side as well. And for lunch, I had some rice, four slices of turkey, a can of tuna, and hot sauce on top. And for dessert, it was a microwaved Costco protein bar. I read online that it was pretty good, but I don't think I'll try this combo again. On Christmas Day, I almost ate 1,500 calories total. My step goal was at almost 11,000 steps, and my calorie deficit was give or take 850. The cottage cheese and low carb tortillas were a good addition to the diet because they both taste great, but the cottage cheese could be an acquired taste for some because of texture. And also, I lost 1.8 pounds of water weight. For breakfast, I had 13.5 ounces of chicken breast, and alongside it was a mix of cabbage, bok choy, and broccoli. They were both plain, no teriyaki sauce, so because of that, I added 150 grams of white rice, just because it would have been too dry. But if there was teriyaki sauce, then I would not have eaten the white rice. And for lunch, it was a typical protein shake and protein bar. And for dinner, I had my cottage cheese, three scrambled eggs, the rest of the chicken, two low carb tortillas, and four slices of turkey. For day 5, I reached a total of 1,600 calories. My step goal was at almost 13,300 steps, and my calorie deficit for the day was at around 700 calories, which is pretty good, I'd say. And on day 5, I weighed in at 193.7 pounds, losing zero point 0.7 pounds of water weight. On day 5, there was more food than usual. I had 150 grams of white rice and 7.7 ounces of tilapia. When there's no chicken breast on certain days, I'll eat tilapia. And also had 6 slices of ham on top of it. No hot sauce or teriyaki sauce because I ran out. And I also had a mix of cabbage, bok choy, green beans, and carrots on the side as well. After meal 1 was 2 multivitamins and 1 fish oil. For lunch was a sticky rice coconut dessert. Even though it looks unappetizing, it's pretty good. I also had a protein bar and 3 pieces of chocolate truffle, which means that I'll be using the eyeballing method for the 3 pieces of chocolate and the sticky rice dessert. For dinner, it was my new wraps that I added. So I had 7.6 ounces of chicken breast, 3 scrambled eggs, cottage cheese, some hot sauce and salsa, and 2 tortillas for it. Once again, using the eyeballing method, I tracked my calories at a total of 1,500, excluding the sticky rice and 3 chocolate truffle. My deficit at 800 because I figured there's just no way that it added up to it. And my step goal was at almost 10,700 steps. And the reason why I do 10,000 steps daily is because on day 6, I weighed in at 193.6 pounds, losing zero point 0.1 pounds. Honestly, 0.1 pounds is pretty negligible. I probably ate at maintenance. So on meal 1 for day 6, it was 13.4 ounces of chicken breast, carrots, cabbage, and green beans on the side. And on the side of that was some hot sauce and teriyaki sauce. For lunch, it was my usual protein bar and protein shake. And for dinner, it was the rest of the vegetables, the rest of the chicken, and my wraps, but a little bit twisted, with some ham scrambled with the eggs, 2 tortillas, and salsa on the side of that. Also, there was no more cottage cheese because I ran out. And for dessert on day 6, it was 3 pieces of chocolate truffle, but no eyeballing because I was able to fit in for day 6. It's also safe to assume that they're 50 calories each, so 150 total. And my calories was 1,500 for day 6. My total steps was around 17,100 steps, and my deficit was at around 770 calories. Overall, day 6 was a really good day. I lost 0.8 pounds, which means I lost majority of the water weight I gained from Christmas. On day 7 for breakfast, I had 15.25 ounces of chicken breast, and on the side was teriyaki vegetables consisting of carrots, bok choy, and cabbage. One workout session later, I had a post-workout shake, which was 2 scoops of protein powder and almond milk, and after that was the chocolate truffles again, 4 of them. I assume it's 50 calories each, so 200 total. For dinner, it was another wrap that I had. It was 6 ounces of rotisserie chicken, the rest of the chicken breast for the morning, 3 scrambled eggs, the rest of the teriyaki vegetables as well, 2 of the low carb tortillas, and on top of it was some hot sauce and salsa as well. We'll mention that cottage cheese will be an acquired taste, but for the low carb tortillas, I'll highly recommend because of low carb source. It will make you satiated when you eat, but when you're on a deficit, it will not make you full at all because you'll always be hungry. That wraps up my calorie deficit for Christmas week. In total, I lost 0.8 pounds. I walked 10,600 steps for day 7. My total calories was at almost 1,700 calories, and my calorie deficit was at around 600 calories. To recap, from November 30th to December 30th, being the last recorded day of Christmas week, I lost a total of 7.5 pounds, which is great. My current goal is to reach 190 pounds, where I am just 1 to 3 pounds away, after which I'll start the maintenance phase. Towards the end of my deficit, I structure my calories around 1500 per day, and now the plan is to gradually increase it by 250 per week until I find my maintenance calories. But I am nervous about the initial weight increase because seeing the scale go up will feel discouraging. From this point on, I will rant about what I learned after being on a calorie deficit and give out advice based on my experience, and also talk about abs and pull-ups as well. If you watched to this point in the video, I really appreciate it. My diet focuses on low carbs to reach a calorie deficit. Starting with supplements, I take fish oil and multivitamins every day. Zinc, I take it once a week, and protein powder is occasional, depending on the day. I do not consume caffeine, so that means no pre-workout, but my only source is from green tea, which I do want to drink more. Creatine, I might take it in the future, but I don't plan on it right now because I don't understand how the on-off cycles work and how long they should last. And while I can't research these to understand it, I'm fine with the supplements I'm taking right now. For protein, I aim for 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. At the start, I was not sure how much protein I should eat, but I found that there really is no difference between 0.7 and 1 gram of protein. So I recommend the 0.8 grams because it's a safe range in between. And if there are days you want to go aggressive on your deficit, you can drop the protein to the minimum at 0.7 grams, and you can increase it to 1 grams if you are feeling hungrier and you can't really fight the urge anymore. My main protein sources comes from chicken breast, tilapia, protein bar, shakes and powder, eggs, and ham and turkey deli slices. Cottage cheese and canned tuna are recent additions, and they are both acquired tastes. And I read online to only consume canned tuna once a week because of the mercury level, so if you do choose canned tuna, be wary of that. I have tried ground beef and ground turkey before, and while they taste fine, they're just not ideal for me. And Greek yogurt, I never got used to the aftertaste, and after adding cottage cheese, it seems to be my replacement for it. Next is healthy fats, which mainly comes from fish oil. Tilapia and canned tuna counts too, but they are both leaner fish compared to salmon, so they have less fat. I tried a container of assorted nuts one time, but I was not disciplined enough to eat one serving and ended up snacking. I use spray oil instead of olive oil, and in the future I might experiment with avocados, dark chocolate, and peanut butter. For the last macronutrient carbohydrates, I mainly get mine from vegetables and rice, and I've recently added low-carb tortillas to add more to my diet. I used to eat potatoes for a short time, but I switched back to rice, and I think I should eat more apples and bananas, but I do not because I'm on a stupid habit of thinking because I eat vegetables every day, I shouldn't really eat fruit as much. As I mentioned earlier, my diet is low carbs, so I can reach a calorie deficit. Preferably on the days I eat rice, I should eat a pre-workout to give me energy, but I like to eat it for dinner because it is towards the end of the day and feels more rewarding when I have a slightly bigger meal. It also makes me feel satisfied for a short time, and I can have a better sleep compared to eating it earlier in the day and having a more hungry stomach at night. Some last advice I'd recommend is to add low-calorie sauces or hot sauces because they're all 0 calories. They add so much to all dry protein you'll eat and will prevent flavor fatigue. I recently stir-fried some vegetables with teriyaki sauce, and I don't know if it makes them less nutritious, but I'm willing to risk it because there are far worse combinations. Sleep is very important too. They say 6 to 8 hours, but I'm not disciplined to do 8 hours, and I have noticed a big difference from 7 hours of sleep compared to 6 hours. And if sleep is difficult for you, try your best to aim for 6 hours of sleep. Throughout this video, one thing you might have noticed about my physique is that my abs suck. And that's because I thought that abs are made in the kitchen, which is false. Instead, abs are made in the gym and revealed in the kitchen. So my physique is the result of a decent nutrition plan and no ab-specific workout. The only time I targeted my abs were through basic bodybuilding workout, such as bench press, squat, or standing military press. I don't deadlift. So my abs were a secondary muscle group. But ever since I dropped down to 200 pounds, pull-ups have become a lot easier to do, so my abs are becoming worked on from that exercise. Towards the end of December, I had a revelation that if the more muscles you have, the more calories you burn, that I should start working on my abs, which is also stupid because it's pretty simple. So what I plan next is pull-up and abs progression and how my maintenance phase is going. If you celebrated Thanksgiving, Christmas, or the New Year's, happy holidays. But if you don't celebrate it, I hope you had a good day. You did great last year. You do great this year. Stay tuned for more.